Today's video is going to feature the 36 Chevy truck that you've probably seen glimpses of in some of my previous videos. It was converted into a hot rod many years ago and still has sort of a vintage hot rod look with the wide white walls, the wheels painted to match the flames, and the beauty rings and center cap hubcaps. The body is straight as an arrow without any traces of rust. The paint is showing some of its age, but overall it's very acceptable. All steel with a full bed tonneau cover. The suspension, front and rear, came from a 62 Chevy Nova. It combines the original leaf springs with coil-over shocks. It has 308 gears, so it's great on the highway. Built-in tail lights, Chevy emblem on the tailgate, and flame pinstriping. Next, I'll show a few views of the original striping. I really like the pattern. It's kind of that early Von Dutch style of pinstriping. Here's another example on the radiator shell, and also the lining on the ridges here on the hood. The interior has all the original instruments. The speedometer works, but it also has an instrument cluster that is a wee bit more reliable. It's got the original style shifter, but it's operating a 700 R4 Chevrolet transmission. Nice pinstriping on the dash, Grant steering wheel, and a nice big auto gauge tack. I made an unusual roller bearing type of accelerator pedal that I really like. It rolls under your foot and is just smooth as glass. The front has independent A-arm suspension from the 62 Chevy Nova. The engine is an original Chevrolet 283, probably from the same 62 Nova. Got the ram's horn exhaust, aluminum high-rise Edelbrock manifold, 4-barrel carburetor, and air cleaner. Got a giant electric fan with a shroud up against a custom-built Ron Davis all-aluminum radiator. The end result is this thing runs so cool, especially in the winter, that it doesn't get much above 135 degrees or so. So actually, you know, in most hot rods, heat is an issue, but not in this one. I put two spun aluminum gas tanks in the bed of the truck. This is the main tank, and that's the reserve tank. I then put an electrical switch here that can select up is the main tank, down is the reserve tank. So if I decide to go on a long trip, then gasoline is really not an issue. Nor is speed in this. It can travel about 80 miles an hour in the freeway all day long with no problems. Okay, let's start it up and see how it sounds. Got a pretty nasty exhaust note here from these rectangular stainless steel exhaust tips. On the other hand, the engine's as smooth and quiet as can be. Okay, let's close the hood and go for a little ride. Okay, here we go. Now, even with 308 gears, it still gets up and hauls pretty darn well because of the lightness of the car. The brakes are all modern, and it stops just as well as it goes. I'm going to turn off the camera now so I don't hit this trailer. It also has power steering, so it's easier to steer than you would imagine. Okay. Let's try a test stop here. Well, if there'd been a pedestrian, we probably wouldn't have been arraigned for murder. back into the driveway and say good. Well, that's about it for our little tour and ride in the 1936 Chevy truck. I hope you enjoyed it and that you will stay tuned for future videos. Thank you.